where is the next part and how are the divorce proceedings working out? Okay, so our divorce was finalized in June of 2025. So we have officially been divorced for, what is that, 7, 8 months? How did the divorce pan out? Well, I am in my own house. I bought my own house in June, right after our mediation. In our divorce agreement, he did have to agree to help me provide me with anything I needed to complete the purchase of this home so that way I could get out of the last house. He did retain the marital home. He did have to pay me 50% of the equity of that home. Unfortunately, I'm a baddie, and we talked about this, and I do have to pay him child support. However, I don't actually have to start paying him child support until this year. There was some financial discrepancies in which that I was earned a credit because of certain things that transpired. So he is kind of like back paying me for that discrepancy. And then my child support starts in November, and I think I have to pay him $370 a month. As well as, like I said, I pay 60% of our child's expenses, and it is mutual expenses, so medical cost, dental cost, optical, anything for schooling, etc., etc. That does not include clothes, shoes, things like that. It's just really like extracurriculars, so like basketball, Cub Scouts, uniforms, etc., etc. Those are the things that we do the 60-40 split on. I retained control of both of my businesses. Obviously, you guys know I lost my phone number, which, it's a little diabolical, right? Like, they're attached with my businesses. But you know what? Fresh starts. We are not going to linger. It is a fresh start. I've got a new house. I got a new car, which I can do another video about why I got a new car. I think, like, if you were in my Mazda saga, if you've been a long time follower, I know I've got a lot of new faces here. So there's a whole Mazda saga, but I got a new car, a new house, a new boyf, a new partner, and a new phone number. Like, we are just new. One thing that I did make sure that I requested in my divorce was my last name. I requested my last name in the divorce so that way I didn't have to go back to court and get further documentation to do a name change, okay? So I requested in my divorce papers a hyphenated last name. Do I regret that? Yes. I wish I had just gone back to my maiden name. And I decided to hyphenate it because traveling out of state, out of country with my son, I wanted to make sure we had matching last names on our documentation in some capacity. However, having his last name still attached to my name makes me feel dirty lately, and but it's okay. I'll probably get remarried. And I actually really like my boyfriend's last name. I'm gonna actually tell you guys a story about my boyfriend's last name in another video, because there was some premonitions in my early 20s about him that have come true. So anyways, that's a whole nother video. What else? A lot of people have asked, did I get any of the money that was hidden? Yes and no, not necessarily. I decided to keep other things, right? Like, I decided to keep my car. The only thing that I really was awarded monetarily out of the divorce was I got 50% of the equity of our marital home. So that was pretty much the only monetary value that I received. Now, I used the majority of that money to pay off a lot of debt that I acquired going through the divorce process, things that I acquired debt for, like, during our marriage. We did keep our debt separate in the divorce. I did not want to pick up his debt. He did not want to pick up mine. And guess what? That is completely fine, even though some of my debt was marital debt. But listen, when you're done, you're done. When you're done, you're done. You're not going to split hairs. I was really not trying to split hairs. I was really not trying to be vindictive. Hindsight, I wish I would have been a little bit more aggressive. I was just done. I wanted to end the marriage. I was willing to kind of just like separate, thinking that we would continue to promote mutual respect between each other, and that just has not been the case. And so do I wish I would have been more of a bulldog? Absolutely. Do I wish I would have let my lawyer out of her cage a little bit more? Absolutely, because she is absolutely savage. But again, My goals through this entire divorce process was to keep our son's life as normal as possible and to not disrupt his life. There have been things that have occurred that have definitely had the potential to disrupt his life that I wish I could have prevented. And when things kind of come push to shove, my goal is just to keep it as neutral as possible. My friends sometimes are like, you need to like say no. Even my mom, even my parents are like, no, you just don't do. I'm like, but the only person that it hurts if I do this is our son. And I'm just not, that's just not the business. So at least I can go to sleep at night knowing that everything that I do is never to harm or cause disruption to our son's life. And that is okay with me, even if I have to do things and agree to things that I don't necessarily want to. I'm just not vindictive and I'm not petty, right? So like, for example, this whole phone number thing. Our son has to remember he memorized my phone number when he was 4 years old. So now he has to completely memorize another phone number for me. That is disruptive to his life. That is disruptive to his norms and his routines. I would have never done that. All the utilities at our old house were in my name. I could have easily just turned off the power and walked away. Turned off the Wi-Fi, turned off the power. He would have had to jump through hoops to do that. No, I just transferred ownership to him because I did not want to disrupt our son's life, right? So there is a very stark contrast of how we have managed things. I think that there is a lot of hurt. I'm not going to speak on his behalf, but I think that he is very hurt over the way that things transpired. I think, and this is just how I feel, and this is me saying this to you, and I'm not speaking for him. I don't think he intended that this process would actually go through. I think that the divorce was a threat, and there was an expectation that I would grovel, beg, cry, be upset, etc. When that was not the case, and I just continued to proceed forward, I think things got a little spicy. As I've talked about in other videos, we did try to reconcile. We did go to therapy together. We did try and do a couple things to try and like bring things back. They did not work out. I could not move forward knowing what I knew, being how I felt, and then and I just had a really bad gut feeling. After I made that decision, about a week and a half later, I got the financial affidavit and my gut feelings were confirmed that I just could not possibly move forward in that relationship. Obviously I met my new partner. That is a huge point of contention. There are definitely some feelings that I cheated or I did something because I met this person while we were still legally married. We were in the divorce process. We were separated. I have different feelings. Other people have different feelings. I can't control the feelings of other people. I can't control the opinions of other people. All I know is I did what was best for me. And I think I spent enough of my life doing what was best for other people that it was okay for me to be selfish in this one instance. And no regrets. No regrets. I'm very happy in my relationship. I love my partner. My partner loves me. We are building something very beautiful together, and I think that that is wonderful. That is pretty much how the cookie crumbled. I mean, if you have like exact questions, I can try and answer some of those, but this is this is the long form version, the 10-minute version of pretty much how everything kind of went down. Like I said, I have my own house. I pay my own bills. I don't receive any alimony. I pay him child support starting later this year. I pay 60% of all of our child's expenses. That's how the cookie crumbled. Unfortunately, I did lose my job in October. I got laid off. Good thing I have side hustles. I'm still doing pretty okay. And also, I did get some money, and I did pay off a lot of debt, so I'm like in a really good spot. But, that's kind of just how things are. So, like I said, if you have direct questions, like individual questions about certain circumstances, I will be more than happy to answer them if I can. But I hope this helps somebody else with understanding how the ending of a divorce could be.